Okay, so we're back. We have this so far. Now, in this part, we're going to do the limbs, and that should probably do it for this tutorial. So, before I move on to the limbs, I'm going to do one thing first. I'm going to take some clay and roll it flat like this, and then I'm kind of going to circle it back onto itself and then flatten it again, just in the center. So now we're going to take Bonnie and put him like this. And if you can kind of tell what's happening is, I guess the torso is what you call it. Bonnie's torso right here is taking shape, and this is where the legs are going to be put once they're sculpted. So I'm actually going to do the leg first because of that reason. So the leg is really easy. And like I said, guys, this is really easy because Bonnie's like an animatronic, and the parts are pretty straightforward in terms of like how they're formed and how they look. Like it's pretty much just a bunch of circles and shapes like that. It's really not too challenging compared to some of the other characters I've done in the past. So first it's just a shape kind of like this. I guess a little more pointed like that. And then we're just going to put a kind of circle shape. This would be effectively the knee joint. And then all we're going to do is make another shape similar to the first one and kind of just squeeze it all together without disforming anything too much. But essentially that's the leg. And I actually had this other one sculpted, so they're both pretty much in proportion. We just have to do the foot now, which is really easy because it's kind of like Lucario and it's not that hard. So we're just gonna take some clay, flatten it. I'm gonna take this sharp dowel because it's what I have around. Kind of do that, and then sculpt like this. And if you've done, like I said, any of my other tutorials, I think Lucario is kind of like this, and I do hands in a similar fashion where, you flatten it out and then you just cut the where the fingers would be. So effectively, it's like this. I'm just gonna kind of even everything together. Put it on the leg right now. So this is something I want to make note of, and I don't recommend you use, if you're sculpting this small, I don't recommend you use a dowel to, put the limbs on or put, stuff in the limbs, because it's just gonna, when you put the dowel in, there's so much like force going down into the clay that like you're just gonna mush this into you're gonna kind of push it all. So instead of being like this, it's just gonna mush down and be like that, and you won't be able to fix it. So I really recommend using toothpicks for this. And like I said, I don't even think that dowels could ever really replace that of the power of a toothpick. But I just don't have any with me right now. So what I would recommend, like I said, you guys do is use a toothpick, put it all the way down into the leg. Especially if you've seen any of my other tutorials, you know how that goes. And if this is your first tutorial you're seeing from me, then you just take a toothpick, and all you do is just carefully, you start right where you would attach the leg to the body, and just carefully twist it in, and then eventually it'll go all the way down, and then you just attach it right to where you're going to put the leg to the body, and then there you go. So I guess I made this a little too big, this leg that I already pre-made. I guess I was not taking into account the torso we added, but I just fixed it up really quick. Kind of like that. What does the artwork have going on? Or the game still? Alright, so he's kind of like... He's kind of standing standing apart like that, and we are going to add a stand to him. I'm just going to make the foot a little bigger now that I have more clay. I'm actually running low on this purple right here, but no worries. So now we just have the arm left, and then we're done. Well, both arms, I should say. And we are going to bake this, just to kind of get it out there right now. We're going to bake this laying down like this. And we're going to make a stand so that when he comes out of the oven, we can glue him. So we're planning to glue him this time. It's not like anything's going to fall over and then we're going to end up gluing him. I'm planning on gluing him this time. So let me just fix this up a little bit. And yeah, just connect it a little better. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna do the arm, and the arm again is really easy. It's pretty much like the leg, in the sense that the shapes just kind of make themselves. So this first shape is actually going to be kind of a little smaller, and what it's effectively going to do is it's going to be the kind of the shoulder joint right here, or well, I guess where it would be. So yeah, right there. And I actually did make this other one, so I was just making sure it's in scale, because typically what I do is I would make this would be I would show the first one on camera and then make the second one off camera, but since I've kind of doing it so that I can upload straight to YouTube from my camera, so that I know the quality is of good quality. I already made this one, so now I have to use this other one to kind of measure the one I'm doing on camera. And you would pretty much do the same like toothpick thing as with the leg. You do the same thing with the arm. You know, you'd have to once you get the arm all assembled, which the parts pretty much go from just small to large to larger in terms of how the arms look. So you just, once you kind of sculpted everything, you just put a toothpick in the arm, you know, slowly, you know, putting it all the way down. Now this is, I did the hand a different way, and I kind of like it this way because Bonnie only has 4 fingers, so I thought about doing it like this, and it actually works pretty well. So just have to make sure it's in scale. So I'll make one kind of shape like this, and then make 2, cross them like this, and then bend 2 other fingers up, and then bend an area that would be the thumb, and then I kind of just use my sculpting abilities to kind of get this to look like a hand. 3 fingers and a thumb is what Bonnie has, and if you need to, just take some more clay, add it onto the back, just to kind of buff out the hand a little bit. And that's a pretty easy way to make the fingers. Kind of like that. And Bonnie's hand is kind of just not really any specific pose or anything. It's just kind of like that. It's in good scale, very good scale. And now, do I curve the fingers a little bit. Attach this. I'm gonna, and don't put it right up, like right up here. Put it a little farther down. And then the other one. And they can be curved a little bit. Let me fix this up a little bit. Because, you know, he's like a creepy animatronic, so. And then let's separate the legs a little bit. And this is actually a good kind of learning thing too. You see what just happened there with the hand? That's because there was no toothpicks in it. And that can happen in the oven too. If you don't secure things with toothpicks, you know, just it probably won't happen this time because I'm going to bake it laying down. But if you just kind of attach things just like this together, and then kind of, you know, bake them in the oven standing up like this, this part could potentially fall off, and then you'd have to glue it if you didn't use a toothpick. So it's always good to use toothpicks, and I'm always going to promote toothpicks in my tutorials because I just feel like they're essential. So I'm going to make sure that he's looking good. Before we put him in the oven, I'll do one final check. But now we're going to do the stand, which we're going to glue him onto after. So I'll take this blue. You want to know what? I'm going to use red. Take this red, roll it into a circle, and now you want the stand, and see, Bonnie's kind of at a stance where his legs are wide apart, so you need a stand that's going to be big enough, and you want it thick enough too, so that when you glue them on, it's not, it actually holds them up. So we take care of this, just rotating. Okay, also precaution, just for anybody who's new to the tutorials, is, gotta put that on the back. I guess, again, this is old clay. But the red from the Sculpey clay, any of the vibrant colors stay in your hand, so especially since we use a lot of light colors here, and I could probably remove the bow tie and you could see some of the color bleeding as well, because the red is so vibrant. See, right there, the impression of the bow tie? So that's because we used the bright red, now we're touching lighter colors, so just be careful about that. But I'm just going to make sure that he'll be able to stand up and that he's postured correctly and stuff. So yeah, he should be able to stand up if we do that. But I'm just going to take the stand off of him and lay him down like that, and I'll put the stand next to him, and then when he comes out of the oven, we will see how that goes in the final part of this tutorial.